Good morning. So, I want to do a quick video on knowing your worth and calling it by name. So, in society, during the spiritual awakening, we are removing layers of ourselves. We're going through ourselves. I've done many videos about archetypes and about the ego. And if you watch the video that is before this, I go into it a little bit more in depth. Um, but here I want to talk about knowing your own power because that's what we're doing in the spiritual awakening. We're removing all of the weaknesses and we're standing up strong in our strengths. So we're standing up into the strengths of the archetypes, the structures of behavior that are flowing through us. And we are revealing ourselves to ourselves. We're waking up. We are becoming enlightened. We are becoming righteous, right, setting ourselves right with the universe. And as we go through this, our gifts start becoming revealed. The gifts that we have to give to humanity, whatever aspect of God is flowing through us, whatever we were given to give. So in some of us, it's talents of music and words, and there's so many different gifts that we're given. Artistic, it's all art, but the, whatever whatever naturally flows through us and is that we're naturally really good at are the gifts that we have to give. They provide healing for the world. They add value to humanity. When somebody comes through and they bring some kind of funky gift that nobody has ever seen in the world before, it shows others what can be done. It shows others what it looks like to bring your gifts forward. So it is a gift that you have been given to give. And as long as you are allowing that gift to flow through you and out and be received by the world, it is also replenishing because then you get the reflection of your gift back, and it enhances and strengthens your gift because you get to tweak it, right? So if you play music and you see how it touches the world, it gives you back that strength on that creates that cycle of abundance, right? You abundantly give, and it comes back to you in abundance, and it builds whatever it is that you are giving. It builds that aspect within yourself, and gives you more assurance within your gifts. Um, but the point that I wanted to make in this is that in society, many times we're not taught to be individuals. We're taught to d- don't show off, don't get the big head, don't compliment yourself, be humble. um, um, we are taught to make ourselves smaller. We are taught to not, you go into class, and in school you want to have clothes just like everybody else. Even in many of the schools, there are dress codes, right? You're going to be just like everybody else. You are tested all on the same subjects. You learn, and I'm not saying there's something bad, because we do need to be educated in some way, but we're not taught to be individuals. We're not taught how to use our minds. We're taught that we are our minds, not how to use whatever it is. When you finish school and you get tossed out into the real world, you don't even know how to you don't know what to do. Even when you go to university, you're still just crammed with knowledge, but you're not crammed how to use that knowledge and apply it correctly in the world. Not only that, we're learning a very, in school, we have these magnificent minds that can learn so much, and we're taught like a little strand of knowledge. Whereas there's so many different ways of being, and each one of us has our own individual attributes and gifts that we bring to the world. And um, and many of us also, especially the ones that think really outside of the box in school, we were taught to shut up and sit down. And if you're making noise, or you're doing something that is outside of whatever structural behavior is acceptable by society, then you are taught that there's something wrong with you, or you have ADHD, or sit still. Shut up and listen. Shut up and listen. And we're also not taught how to use our individual, for the most part, our own individual talents. And we're not taught that that unique thought doesn't really have a place in the world unless you're completely outside of the box, and then you become like a hero. And why do you become a hero? Because everybody wants to be like that. Everybody feels like they have something individual and something unique within them, and they do, that wants to be expressed. And so when you can fully stand up into your power and know, and your individual life light, allow during the spiritual awakening, that's what we're doing. We're clearing everything away, and then our individual life light comes out of us by natural way of flowing. And in order to allow that, we have to fully embrace it. That means we have to know, if you have a tool, let's say, you have to be able to call it by name. So let's say if you're a surgeon and you learn to be a surgeon and you know this surgery very well, and you begin to call yourself a surgeon. If you can't call yourself a surgeon, nobody is going to allow you to do surgery on them. Could you imagine coming into a room and saying, "Yeah, I kind of know how to cut people open a little bit and fix what's inside"? Nobody is going to feel trust you to to do surgery on them. So when you start understanding your higher calling, when you start understanding who you are, what you are, when you understand, when inside that you are an artist, you have to be able to say, "I am an artist," um, without feeling awkward, without feeling like you're putting somebody on, or without, let's say, if you have healing that's going through you, if you are an energetic healer and you were taught in school. First of all, in school we're not really taught about those things at all, but in order to heal people energetically, and you know that that is what you do, you have to be able to call it by name. You have to at some point stand up in it and say, "Okay, this is flowing through me naturally. This is my gift. I am an energetic healer." um, you can't be shy of it. You can't be, but by being shy of it, it's being disrespectful to the divine that gave you these gifts to flow through you, for you to use. Until you can call them by name, until you can recognize them, even you have to be able to recognize them before you can even call them by name. Once you are able to recognize them, it is a process. Once you are able to recognize them, you must come to the point where you are able to call them by name and stand behind that, and know thyself, know your greatness, know that you have healing powers, know whatever art form flows through you. You can begin by just calling yourself a healer. And I know a lot of times we're like, "Well, I'm not going to call myself a healer. How can I stand it? How do I explain that?" And once you fully stand into your power, there's no getting away from it. That is the essence of who you are. It's flowing through you, and you have to be able to call it by name. You have to be able to call it by name in order to own it, and in order to use that. You can't use tools if you can't call them by name. You can't heal the world if you don't have the ability to say, "I am a healer. I heal the world." In order to stand up in your strengths, you have to realize what they are, and you have to be able to tell the world who you are. You have to be able to tell the world who you are. Otherwise, you will never be able to step into that. And and a lot of times it's coming out of your comfort zone. And this is a good place to go back to that point that just came up, which is you get to tell the world who you are. The world believes you. And they believe you also energetically. When you walk into a room and you walk in full confidence, the world believes you that you are confident. If you walk into the world and you're hiding yourself and you're standing in the corner, that is what you are, the energy that you are emitting, and the world believes you. They start treating you like you don't have power. They start treating you like you're insecure. When you walk into a room and you know your power, and you know that you are divine, and you are And it has nothing to do with being over others. It has to all everything to do with self. You know your worthiness. You trust in that. And when you fully trust in that, you don't have to be judgmental over others. It's exactly the opposite. You become curious of others because all of a sudden you start seeing that you have your own natural abilities and capabilities and gifts. You start saying, well, and you are fully strong in that, and you are confident in that, and you love yourself. Then you're free to get curious about other people's gifts because everybody comes in with different gifts, right? And so then you can recognize other people's gifts within themselves, and you can become like in awe of others' gifts. Wow, look at that person. That person got an absolutely magnificent gift. Let me go get some of that healing. Or let me go learn from that person. Let you start being, when you stand up into yourself and you are proud of yourself and you're confident within yourself and you know your worthiness. Other people's worthiness doesn't threaten your place. It doesn't threaten your being. You don't feel insecure next to them. It's exactly the opposite. You feel empowered next to them because it's another being of power. And so it's power by power. And so you can appreciate, when you appreciate your own powers and the path that you have done in your spiritual awakening, and you know how much strength it took to get to where you are, you can appreciate that in others, and you can see others' greatness even when they don't see their own greatness, when they're standing in the corner in that place of the shadows and they're not standing up in their own power. You can still see the potential power underneath all those weaknesses. It's not even potential power, it's power that they're not standing up into. It's their own individual God essence power that they're not standing up into. And when you can see it in others, you can reflect that back into yourself, because this is a progression. There are places within me where I am still not standing up. As long as there are places that have smoke around them that are kind of hazy for me, subconscious, in the subconscious, then I know that there are places that I'm not fully standing up into my own power. You can use the archetypes as a map. You can go into the archetypes and read about the different archetypes, because we each have these archetypes flowing through us, and you can see the weaknesses and the strengths in them, and you can recognize yourself within the archetypes. And then you can, because on one side is the strength and on the other side is the weakness, you can find the balance. You can find the full spectrum of it, stand up in your strength, and then you have full range of play within this archetype. Archetypes are behavioral structures, so that you can recognize these archetypes in others, and you can help others to pull them out of their own weaknesses. And you don't even have to remember it by mind, because once you do the work, the mechanism is working properly within yourself. You can recognize it in another, and you know the map on how to pull them out of it, or you know exactly how to trip them up lovingly in their archetype. You know where to it's like sticking a stick in somebody's spokes, but in a way that is empowering, and through love and through acceptance and through authenticity. And you can trust that when you do the work, it happens automatically all around you, because when others are in the presence of a healed being, that is reflecting outwards. So they are seeing they're recognizing their own self in you, their archetypes, they're recognizing their own structures of behavior, their own selves in you, in their strengths, and they can recognize that, and now they have a map there. They can see where they're off from that behavior, because they're really, all you have to do is be an expression, be yourself, and be in your natural expression, and trust that what you have to give has a value. If you are in surroundings that don't value that, start bringing your gifts to out to play. Start flowering your inner flower, and you will see that your surroundings change. All of a sudden you are in presence of people that can't appreciate that, or all of a sudden you will realize that the people that were in your life that you were ashamed to what that all of a sudden I'm going to say that I'm a healer next to my brothers and sisters. They're going to think, or next to my best friend, or next to my parents, or next to my children. They may have, what do you mean? You're just you. Well, but when you're willing to stand up into that, and you tell the world who you are and how to behave towards you, you'll start seeing that some of the people that are around you that can't accept that will naturally fall out, or the relationship will change. And you will start seeing that slowly the people around you start appreciating that as well, because they can appreciate the power. They can appreciate, and power comes from a place of being powerful, a powerful being. When somebody is powerful, they don't need to be offensive. True power is sustainable. It's not something that you have to fight for. You don't have to fight for appreciation, or fight for, because when you truly have power, you give yourself that power. You don't need it from the outside sources to tell you that you're powerful. So you don't need to force yourself. You don't need to um, tell anybody. True inner power is felt within its own presence. So, um, so it's really from a place of natural humbleness. Not be humble, don't talk, don't get the big head, don't show off. Uh, um, Weak in the universe isn't truly valued. Weakness is the opposite of life. It's not living, right? So true appreciation is appreciation of, this is a power for this is a universe of power. When a plant comes out of the ground, that is powerful. If the seed doesn't come out of the ground, that's weakness. So, and there is no emotion attached, you can see that you can see the difference. And if somebody is threatened by your power, I'm not talking about being fighting, because that's weakness. When you have to fight for your power, or fight for respect, that's weakness. When somebody is intimidated by your power, it just means that they can't contain that, because they haven't done the work yet, and it's reflecting their weaknesses back to them. And so it's not an attacking you, it is attacking their own selves. If they can't accept you and they dislike you because you're powerful, they are disliking those aspects about themselves. They're saying you're no good, so that they can feel good about themselves, so that they can feel like they're afraid of doing that their own work in those places. So I really wanted to keep this one short, and I say that we're already at 18 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. When you find your superpower, be able to call it by name, so that you can fully take ownership of it and use it within the world. You get to tell the universe who you are, and the universe will listen. So, sending you guys so much love. Thank you.